What's going on, Facebook? We are having a good time, man. It's harvest time. As you can see, we got the family in the back seat. Quan filming for me again. What's up, Quan? So listen, we had a wonderful time. A lot of people came out to help us out. He missed his exit and he took off across. Did you see that? Hey, that dude was tripping. We having a good time harvesting. Make sure y'all share this thing. So here's the thing about harvest. Don't nobody get into this hemp game thinking that it's easy, man. There are a whole lot of things that come and challenges that come up that you got to try to overcome. And some of them you just can't overcome. Like nature, you can't overcome. What I want to do today is I want to talk about like how huge this has been for us working together as a family. Farming, number one, definitely takes a group effort. Now, I know people bring in immigrant workers and they go find employees to come work for them, but the group that I'd rather work with is my family, because it gave us an opportunity to get out and do some things a little bit different than what we normally doing. Like me, I am a software developer by trade. I have a finance degree. So I'm normally a behind the desk type of person, but I love working outdoors. I love doing those kind of things. But my kids, you know, they came up in a different generation. They like being outdoors a little bit than I thought, but then they also normally not outdoors that much, right? It's the video game generation. They're on their phones, those kind of things. So one thing about farming that has really like opened my eyes is, number one, it showed me like my kids really do enjoy being outdoors. If given the opportunity to be outdoors, they're gonna be outdoors. So it really got us outdoors together, right? Man, it's been a huge, I mean, our family's pretty tight anyway, but it's been a huge binder. What you think, Quan? Like,
yeah, it was a dope bonding experience. I mean, it's allowed me to get to know not only my dad way closely, but also I got to hang out with my sister. You know, times I usually don't hang out with her because she's at school or like she's doing other things. And then my mom, she's usually at work during like the day, so now I can hang out with her in the mornings, like, you know, eat breakfast together. We get to, you know, drink coffee together, do a whole bunch of things that we usually weren't used to doing at home. So it's really fun, you know.
Right.
I'm having a good time.
And all the new people.
And there's a whole bunch of new people we get to meet in person too, like came down, which is pretty cool to hang out with them as well.
Yeah, like Sheldon.
Mr. Sheldon, yeah.
Yeah, man. So, yeah, we've had a good time in all of it. Like I said, there are some challenges, and y'all be ready for that live, because I'm going to make a live that talks about, like, the good and the bad and the ugly of what we've done and what we had to do this year from a hemp perspective. It hasn't all been roses at all. We didn't expect that, because we didn't expect it to all be roses, but at the same time, we would have hoped for it all to be roses, right?
Exactly.
But you gotta remember, we're not growing roses, we're growing hemp. So
yeah, I like that.
I tried. We wish it would have all been roses, like I said, wish it would have all come up roses, but it didn't. And you gotta remember, like I said, the stuff we were doing earlier, all of this year was all a proof of concept. There's a lot of things we had to figure out, because it's not just about growing the hemp, it's about working with other farmers and being on their land and making sure that we do things right by what they want on their land and what we got to do. No, but seriously though, like the thing is that I really want to give y'all some, I'm not going to give y'all everything, right? Because that got to do with us and the people that farm with us. But I do want to give y'all some tips based on what I've learned as a first-time farmer, as a first-time person. Number one, I would not change I don't regret anything we did this year at all. I would not change anything, any part of it, because I loved every single moment of what I was doing. Even the challenges just help you to start thinking. You got to think outside the box, do things. You find out that you might not have as much labor as you thought you were going to have. You get into a situation where the weather's not what you thought it was going to be. So you wind up running into a whole bunch of different things, but that you can't even control. The other supervisor back there asleep. She laying down. No, you ain't got to show her, because
she always come up and face.
You know she gonna come on face up.
Every time. Happy Quan is learning, that's your legacy. Thank you. You know, I try to always learn the best I can, because, I mean, that's all I got is the future, right? I'm not getting any younger, and I just have to keep on moving forward. You see what I'm saying?
I'm not getting any younger. If you don't do things in your yard, I would say grow something, man. Like, number one, it's extremely therapeutic, and then it also is a great family bonding like practice, because it teaches you patience, teaches you to work together. It also teaches you that everything ain't in your control, man. That's a huge lesson learned. You go out and grow something, and you have these expectations of what it's going to be when it finishes, but because everything is not within your control, only certain things, then when you get to harvest, you got to realize that it was a combination of what you were able to do along with what God was able to do, right? Or what basically was given to you by what's around you, right? So that at the end of the day, it's like you start learning that this world is so small that we all are connected together, even through, you know, the circumstances of what goes on in the weather. Let's say you don't get to weed as much or something, or let's say you don't get as much water as you had thought, or let's say that you might wind up with a pest problem and that you have no control over, and you trying to grow more organically, so you didn't spray a bunch of different pesticides on your food. It's like those kind of decisions that you make, they all have to work together, because there's all types of variables that you have no control over, and that you literally, at the end of the day, that you literally just have accepted, and then change the things that you can change, and then, you know, accept the things that you can't. That's the beautiful thing about this. It also has, you know, shown our kids that, like, it's listen, hemp is one of the most challenging things that I've done from a, you know, just from a mental and a patience type of perspective. But it has helped me grow in both of those areas tremendously. What about you, Quan? So through this process, have you felt like you've grown and understand life more?
From what I learned from like growing hemp, and, you know, looking at the plants and the way they have to go through different kinds of weather and things like that, it just made me stronger. Not really, I would say, as a person, but in the way I see things and the way I perceive things. Because the way a hemp plant grows, right? If you overwater it, like if you put too much water on it, it won't grow to the full potential it needs to, because it will kind of feel spoiled, and it also end up kind of destroying the plant because you spoiled it too much, right? And if you stress the plant, right, if you put it in hot scenarios for too long, then it will never grow because it will have no water to give the increase. But if you get a perfect balance of stress and then spoil it, then you'll be able to have such a huge increase that your plant will be overwhelming, right? So also that in life is like, if you're able to put enough stress and you're able to work hard and put enough pressure on yourself in order to keep going, but then when you need to take the breaks you need to and maybe spoil yourself, then, you know what I'm saying, you'll get such a huge growth, it's overwhelming, you won't even know that what you were doing. You just were trying to keep a balance between pushing yourself and making sure you had the breaks in between, whether it be with family or friends or whatever. So yeah.
So you thinking about, so Quan is basically talking about the balance, right? He's learned a lot about the balance of things by yeah, no, Quan, you preaching, boy.
Yeah.
But you basically talking about the balance of life and how the hemp plant, from a water perspective, needs both, right? It needs a little bit of sunshine, a little bit of rain, right? It needs, you got it. It's okay. It needs some stress, you know what I'm saying? That's good stuff, man. Like, one of the things that's real cool is we've been staying at my cousin's house in Raleigh and then driving about an hour to the farm every morning. And usually it's mostly me and Quan, or me, Quan, Castor, right? But me and Quan have been able to have these long conversations every single day.
Yeah, just
you know what I'm saying? Just talking about things. You know what I'm saying? So it makes it really, really cool to be able to discuss what we've seen at the farm, what we've seen over the whole, you know, duration of us growing all the way into harvest, and being able to put that in perspective. Because one thing that we understand is this is just the beginning. The mistakes we made this year, we write them down, we learn from them, and next year we hope not to make them. But I'm sure we'll make other mistakes, because that's the thing about doing stuff, man. Like, when you do stuff, you're probably gonna make mistakes, especially when you do something new. Most people are afraid to make mistakes, or some people, they sit and wait for people to make mistakes and then sit in the background and be like, I know they shouldn't have did that, right? But those same people are the ones that won't ever try anything. They won't ever do anything. So, you know what? We call it taking our lumps. We'll take our lumps. Yeah. Because the next time we do it, we got something in the back of our head, and that we understand that most people who haven't taken their lumps don't understand. Like, you gotta go through it. You gotta trust the process. And a lot of that process is taking your lumps. So, yeah, Quan, so what do you think about, like, the hardships that we've gone through in the field? Have you felt down at any point? And then how did you deal with it, man?
Sometimes when we would look back at the plants that didn't grow the way we wanted them to, like, they'd be a lot shorter than what we expected. I kind of look like, dang, like, you know, I feel kind of bad. I'd be like, I wish the plants would have grown more, because we've been able to get more out of the field, which means more for our harvest, and, you know how that goes, more income, so on and so forth. But when you really look at the things, I also turned around and I looked at what we did have and how many plants did grow and how many plants were flourishing, right? So then it just comes with contentment. Yeah, sorry about my word choice, but it makes it easier to accept the fact that, you know what, this is what it is, and the only way we can grow upon that is to do better next time. Because this time's already over and done with. You know, you can't really dwell on too much of what you did wrong.
That's it, Quan.
All you have to do is take from what you learned from it and then do it on the next time you do it.
So, man, Quan, you killing it, boy. That's the stuff we've been talking about, though. Like, Quan and I keep talking about it because there are times you look at the plant, you go, man, I wish I could have did better on that one plant. But then you look next to it, and then you got this monster plant, and it's like, you know what I'm saying? You got to take the good with the bad and have it all rolling, man. So,
Exactly.
good stuff, Quan, man. Anybody got any more questions? If not, we about to get up out of here because we real close to the farm now. Okay, well, listen. Love y'all. Live love. Love life. We out of here.